Alright, so it's Tuesday morning, it's after a bank holiday. So the plan is this week, I want to get some hedge trimming done. I have to put on the hedge trimmer yet, I have to put on the guards and stuff, just set it all up. What I want to do this morning is, because I'm still drawing bales home here, I always just bring home 2 bales, because I'm going over anyway to look the cattle, and I bring home 2 bales every day. Today I'm going to do 3 runs. I'm going to try to have a few bales in front of me. I'm after putting in bales this morning. Today is kind of the prep day before we start hedge trimming, so at least having them at home, I won't have to do these runs tomorrow. So if I can get 2 or 3 days straight where I don't have to do this run, I'll actually get a lot of trimming done. Another good thing is my helpers are at home now on mid-term break, off for Halloween, whichever way you want to call it, so I have plenty of help there in the evenings for milkings and stuff, so this is the time to get it done now when I've got a wee bit more extra time. So now we have this yoke hooked on, well, sort of hooked on. I managed to back it up here. I don't have any of the controls fitted, so I wasn't able to lift the arm or anything. We're going to do that now, but there's a good few things we need to go through just to get both tractor and trimmer ready. I have been going around with the grease gun, just doing a few of the bits and pieces, but we still have to go through the machine to make sure everything's working right. So I think the first thing we'll do is start up with the tractor. So now I'm fitting in the controls on this machine. I normally mount them to the armrest. I used to have a different kind of setup for the lever system. It needed a lot more strength to hold it when you're moving the levers back and forth, but this, because it's just a little joystick, it doesn't take much to hold it. So I was fixing it the whole time to our armrest here, but when I got this tractor, unfortunately the armrest was ripped off the end of it here, which meant that I had it mounted further back. Didn't really bother me that much, but you would have your arm kind of back behind you trying to use it, so it can be an uncomfortable position if you're doing it for a few days in a row. So to fix that, I went back a good while ago, several months ago. I went and I bought a new armrest for this seat. So obviously there's a bolt goes in here, and then there's different heights you can set it at. I don't need to take any of this apart, so that'll make the job a wee bit easier. Just one bolt, one washer. Just hooks out. Alright, maybe that'll do. That's it out. Side by side. There's that much extra length in that one, so it's not much, and it wouldn't bother me at all, only for this controller. I don't really use this side anyway. I usually have it folded up because it'd be in the way of the handbrake. Down she goes. Yeah, that looks good to me. Right, so here's our control box here. We do have an issue with it. It's all cracked. Everywhere that holds a screw in on the top is cracked. There's riddled with cracks in the top here. There's no saving that top box. I see that this column here, I'm hoping, comes apart. I might inquire to see can someone 3D print just the top part of that there, and we can let this back down into it, and that way I can save this one and reuse it, because I doubt you can get this. Pretty sure you can't, and there'd be no point in trying to buy it. This unit, imagine it have to remortgage the house to get it. So I'm going to do a farmer fixing it now by just taping it up, and that'll keep it at least together while we get this trimming done this year. That will actually hold it. It's not something that you have to root too hard at. The joystick's fairly easy to move around, so unless it gets a hop or a bang, that should last a right while. Okay, guys. This skate comes around here. Sits on an armrest like that. We're going to use a real high-tech way of putting this on. That's just cable ties. Could take the time and make up something better for it, but I will maybe when we're done the hedge trimming this year. Right, so there's our trimmer hooked up there as well. A big mountain of cables just going into the back of that. I do dread that part of it in case one of those would ever go wrong, but so far they haven't given any bother. That's everything on. Our safety, that's our red light on, so she's powered up. This lever here is basically what controls the direction of the rotor on the head of the trimmer. I might make a little frame just like that there. It'll sit out from this one, hold it all together. And again, that could be a very long finger. Right, we can power up now and see what's happening. Father always put me into the habit of greasing something when you put it away rather than greasing it when you take it out, and that way you fill up all these voids in here, stops any water from getting in at the places you don't want it. So we just have this roller here to grease. When you're trimming with this yoke, all you can hear is this bolt rattling the whole time. As the common quote goes, is do your nut in. So I'm going to just heat it here. I've tried to take it off and it won't move. So I'm just going to give it a wee bit of heat and hopefully we'll fit to loosen this and throw a new one on. I can see the way it's worn around here too. I'll have to do a better job on this, build that up with weld again. But for now, we can put a new one on or just tighten this one. Just stick a split washer on it for now, put the bolt back on, that'll leave it tight, and I'll go off and I'll get a couple of them bolts because there's a few other places that definitely do have been tightened. Right, I'll take the vibration of that so I'm not listening to that all day tomorrow. We have had it out, you can see a lump of a branch stuck there, seems to be cutting well. Just throw the guards on the tractor, ready to rock. Right, so it's the first day on the trimmer here. I've done a full morning, we'll milk the cows early this morning. The girls finished up all the yard work for me, so I was able to get started this morning just after 9 o'clock, which was great. You can look over there, there's not much of a view maybe out of these cameras, but you can see that I have all the roadsides all cut. That goes over there a right distance, it goes the opposite way as well. I managed to get them cut field side and road side, which was great, all topped and finished. So I'm just about to start these hedges here now, which brings us up to the away farm. So I'm doing all the road stuff now at the minute. I hope to get this finished today. And then first thing in the morning, we'll be starting to do some of the hedges inside the fields. The fields are still relatively dry, you just have to be careful where you go. But all in all, well, not bad. Now this is an awkward wee spot here to have to cut because the laneway is very, very narrow. So you'll end up having the head of the trimmer very close to the tractor. I'll just have to be careful. One thing I am going to buy is a split mirror for this side here. Because at the minute I have that mirror facing down on the back wheel of the tractor, so when this guy comes down I'm not hitting the tyre. It's very hard to see in this tractor, just judging the distance between the head and the tyre, and also seeing how far you are off of the ground. So I use this guy here pointing down on the ground at the minute, but I'd love to have a split mirror where I could have two directional visions showing me exactly where the head is behind this. It would be very, very handy, so that's something I'll add to this eventually. That's her on. You can see here now the head of the trimmer is very close to the tractor here, and I have no more room to go out this side, so I just have to be wary that I don't take the mud guard of the tractor. Now if the weather allows me, I might come back in February and do a few hedges as well, because there's a lot of berries in the hedges at the minute and I know that's providing a lot of food. It seems a bit of a pity to knock out all the hedges just as the berries come on them, so leaving a few hedges not cut certainly isn't a bad thing. it's the Thursday morning now, it's the day after that bit of hedge trimming. Our cows are now inside full time. Grass is more or less gone. Ground conditions, we're still alright. There's no tramping done, but it's starting to rain heavy. It's given heavy rain today now for the whole day, hence the reason we're not trimming today. So that's really the start of the winter. I'm really glad we got such a long time outside. It's nice to get up to Halloween with cows outside the daytime. That saves an awful lot of silage. It also is good for the animals. They're still getting plenty of exercise. Right, so the first job in hand is to get these girls moved. They have plenty of grass there, but they're starting to tramp a wee bit around the gates and things. It's only a small area around the gate here. Everywhere else is dry, but it's given a lot of rain now in the next 48 hours. The far side of that fence is layered with grass. It's really sandy, dry ground, so I'm going to let these girls in here to the far side. But before we can do that, I have to turn off our electric fence. That handle over there is broken, and I know with the wet weather, when I catch a hold of it, my eyebrows will fall off, so I don't want that happening. Right, that's you off. Next day I'm over here, I need to put a new handle on this, because these ones here have a habit of just pulling through. They're not the best in the world. They're not the worst either, but I'd rather the ones with a wee bit of spring in them. Come on, come on. Come on. Come on, come on. Come on. Up there are some of the hedges that were trimming yesterday. I'm having these ones here done. They weren't done last year either, so they will need a wee bit of a trimming. Going down along there. This is a dry part, so I can come along here any time of the year and trim this hedge from this side. The same going up that other side there, but I will not go into the silage field because it's a completely different sort of field. Along the hedge especially sometimes can be quite wet, so I'm not going to touch that this year. Sometimes you could get a hell of a frost, and if you do get a good frost you could go in then and do it, so I'll keep an eye out for what's happening. I robbed Paul to pay Peter. I took this off another thing that's not been used at the minute, so I'm going to just swap it out. Before I turn my electric back on, I want to remove that white tape that runs up along there. That was only a training tape, should have been tucked away ages ago. So a lot of nettles just here in this area. The reason being is we sprayed that paddock, we sprayed this paddock, but the calves were in that side when we were doing the first initial spraying in here, so I didn't want to go too close to them, so this spot here was missed just under the fence. But like everything, I meant to come back and do it with the quad sprayer, just never got around to it, so early springtime you guys remind me that I need to do that, will ya? Alright, see, look at this. This is touching the fence here, so that's going to take away from the fence. Just from the wind that blew this branch off their lime trees, so I'll grab a herder here and pull away from it. When you walk around the farm, the jobs that you'll see that you have to do, like checking fences, things like that, there's always something to be done, especially when you've had high winds. But you know something, it's a job I love doing. Walking around the farm keeps you fit as well, because sometimes you get used to going around in a quad and you get lazy. So it's nice sometimes to leave the quad behind and go out and actually walk around your fields. Yes, you might have to carry a lot of stuff and you mightn't have all the tools with you, but it's nice and fresh, healthy, and it's good for you. I'm just checking down here. You can see we have a carpet of grass here as well. Sorry I forgot my microphone, but I see we have a small tree down over here too, and another one just down there that's hanging right over the field, ready to come down. So we're going to have a lot of trees down this winter, something tells me, because we're already off to a good start. Another thing that I noticed when I'm over here, will it last? I think that there might hold it, but yeah, that's another one that had to be changed. Right, so we're in our back field here now. Do you remember when we took our calves out of this field and moved them into where they are now? Well, that was about 2 weeks ago. And look at the amount of grass that grew on this silage field since they were moved. It's unreal. And like, the ground underneath still isn't wet. It's wet on the surface, yes. You hear the slapping maybe on my feet. But all in all, I reckon I'm going to put them back in here again and let them just have a quick swipe over it. Not lay them on it too long. that they'll do any harm, but just let them have a quick run over it and just take that clipping off it again. And tomorrow is Halloween, and it's hard to believe we're going to begin into the 1st of November then. And it's just unusual to see grass coming back like that. So I need to fix up a bit of wire here. I want to get these girls moved because it seems like it's going to pour rain here on me very quickly. We've a couple of fences here we have to move. So this wire here is on the ground here, just up to this ESB pole. I let that down so it could travel across with the slurry tanker and do both sides with slurry. So I just have to fix it to this pole again. Okay. Be careful here because that wire's alive. Only can we hook this on without running up the field and having to turn off the power. Go on, get in there. There. That'll work. Why didn't I put that on before the electric was on? Right. What is them droppings of? Well, the one thing I hoped they wouldn't do was exactly what they're doing. Is spend a while galloping around. That's what the harm is done, but we're not going to leave them in here very long. We're going to probably move them out of here in about 2 days, put them into that low bog field maybe. But it's time for these girls to go in very shortly. They're big, they're heavy, they can do a lot of harm to ground very quickly. And this is our silage ground, so we certainly don't want to be doing that. Putting that fence up the middle of that hill works so well. I nearly had forgotten we hadn't done it in so many years. You can manage grass so much better. Moving these animals from one side to the other, strip grazing it, you can just stretch the thing out an awful lot better. That's them sorted for now. Right, so that's the electric fence set up around the cottage now as well. So I'm going to leave them girls, they're still galloping around the field here. But I want to just end on a good note today because a lot of people asked how my mother's doing, so just a quick update. She got home there last week. She's doing well, doing much better than what she was, so that definitely lifts everybody's spirits. So huge thanks to all the messages that we got. We really appreciate them, and we're glad to have her home. So a lot of things coming up now. I have to remove the 2 back cylinders off, or 2 back rams off the back of the 50B. They're getting sent away to be repacked. I also have to remove a pipe that's running from underneath the hydraulic filter right to the very front to the hydraulic pump. The main is an 1.5 or 2 inch actually pipe that's running to that is leaking quite badly, and that's the reason why I can't drive it much, because every time I go to it it's empty of oil. So we have them 2 things to get fixed. I want to do a bit of wiring on it as well and get some of the electrics and some of the controls in the front working, because the digger itself is working perfectly now. I will have to look at the brakes. They're a bit dodgy. They're either on or off. There's no kind of in between, so we have to look at that. I'm also going to look at a couple of kit sheds. So we talked about the workshop at home. We're going to do a video on that very soon. And I was looking at a few different options. Immediately, my first impression was to put in a mass concrete wall around it. Because you have such a bankment behind, you could backfill to that wall. And it probably would be the right way to do it. But I was away there getting my Jeep fixed, and the garage man that was doing it had a kit shed up. And it was about 40 foot by 30 foot, I think. Awesome looking shed, really sturdy and proper RSG, is done really well, and for the price that he got it done, although it was 5 years ago, it was just a fraction, actually a lot cheaper than just the walls alone for the shed that I was originally going to put up. So I'm looking at all options. It'd be interesting. We'll know a lot before Christmas and we'll give you a good update on what we're choosing to do there. There's a lifetime of sticks to be cut, there's a lifetime of sticks to be split, there's a lifetime of timber work to be done, and I hope to get the rest of our hedge trimming done next week. So definitely going to be a busy 2 months ahead before calving season starts. See you next time.